Good morning, students. Welcome to our e-learning class. Students, today in this video, we are going to read about chapter 5, that is International Organizations, from the book Contemporary World Politics. So from that book, chapter 5, International Organizations, we are going to read. And today in this chapter, we are discussing the topic UN, the UN in a unipolar world. The UN in a unipolar world. Next one, Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. So these three topics we are going to read, students, and this video will be the concluding part of this chapter 5. So I appeal all the students to watch this video carefully, listen to the lecture given by me, so that you can understand the concepts in a better manner. Okay, fine, students. Now let us move to the topic. The UN in a unipolar world. That is the topic, students. Among the concerns about the reforms and restructuring of the UN, every country in the world, they raised their voice, they gave call that UN should be reformed, UN should be restructured, then membership should be increased, the role of UN should be specified. So these things they have demanded. So among the concerns about the reforms and restructuring of the UN has been the hope of some countries that changes would help, or changes could help the UN cope with a unipolar world in which the USA, or say US, was the most powerful country, the most dominant country, or the rich country without serious rivals. I repeat once again, among the concerns about the reform and restructuring of the UN has been the hope of some countries that the changes could help, these changes could help the UN to cope with a with a unipolar world, with a unipolar world in which the US was the most powerful country without any serious rivals. Now, can the UN serve as a balance against US domination? That is the question. Can the US serve a balance against US domination? Can it help maintain a dialogue between the rest of the world and the US and the present America from doing whatever it wants? US power cannot be easily checked. US power cannot be easily checked. First of all, students, with all the disappearance of the Soviet Union after 1991, the US stands as the only superpower. After the breakup of Soviet Union, the entire world, the bipolar world, changed into unipolar world, and US began to dominate in the unipolar world. It became the world leader. It became the most powerful country in the world. Its military and economic power allowed it to ignore the UN or any other international organizations. I repeat this sentence once again. Its military and economic power allow it to ignore the UN or any other international organization. That means USA became the most powerful country in the world. Economically, militarily became most important power in the world. So with these two powers, it always ignored the orders of UNO and any other international organizations. It didn't care about the UN orders. There are several reasons are there for which USA didn't care about the UN orders. Secondly, within the UN, the influence of the US is considerable. The influence of USA is more in UNO. Why that USA influence is more in UNO? Because the headquarters of UNO located in USA. USA is one of the permanent member of UNO. UN is the having a more military power, more economic power, like this. So secondly, within the UN, the influence of the US is considerable as the single largest contributor to the UN. I mean, America, US is the single largest contributor in the UN. At the same time, the US has unmatched financial power. I mean, donating more money to UN, donating more money to WHO, military power, economic power. UN headquarters located in USA, permanent member of UNO. All these reasons are there. As the single largest contributor of the UN, the US has unmatched financial power. The fact that the UN is physically located within the US territory, I mean UNO, that organization, that world organization is located in USA. Okay, territory gives Washington additional source of influence. The US also has many nationals in the UN bureaucracy. I mean, in the UNO, many bureaucrats, many officers are working from USA. In addition, it is a veto power. Moreover, I told you, US is one of the permanent member of UNO, and it is the permanent member in Security Council. It is having veto power. Yes. In addition, with its veto power, the US can stop any moves that it finds annoying or damaging to its interest or the interests of its friends and allies. I mean, through veto power, it is rejecting all the bills that is not in favor of USA or not in favor of its friends. The power of the US and its veto power, okay, the power of the US and its veto within the organization also ensures that the Washington has a considerable degree of say in the choice of the Secretary General of the UN. I mean, who will be the Secretary General, that also will be decided by USA. The US can also, I can say the US can and does use this power to split and the rest of the world and to reduce opposition to its policies. The next one, the UN is not therefore a great balance to the US. I repeat, the UN is not a great balance, or I can say the UN is not therefore a great balance to the US. Nevertheless, in a unipolar world in which the US is dominant, the UN can and has served to bring the US and the rest of the world into discussions over various issues. US leaders, in spite of their frequent criticism of the UN, do see the organization as a serving purpose in bringing together over 190 nations, or as 193 nations, in dealing with the conflict and social economic development. As for the rest of the world, the UN provides an area in which it is possible to modify US attitudes and policies, while the rest of the world is rarely united against Washington, and while it is virtually impossible to balance what? US power. The UN does provide a space within which arguments against specific US attitudes and policies are heard, and compromises and concessions can be shaped. The UN is an imperfect body. The UN is an imperfect body, but without it, the world would be worsen off. Though it is imperfect body, though I guess it cannot solve all the problems, though US domination more in UNO, but still it is needed to preserve the world. Okay, otherwise the world will be worsen off. Given the growing connections and the links between societies and the issues, what we often call independence, it is hard to imagine how more than 7 billion people would live together without any organization. I mean, without any world organization, this much population in the world cannot be lived without any conflicts. Such as the UN. Technology promises to increase planetary independence, and therefore the importance of UN will only increase. People and governments will have to find ways supporting and using the UN and the other international organizations in ways that are consistent with their own interests and the interests of the international community more broadly. Students, I read the textbook. Now listen here carefully. UN in the unipolar world. Actually, military and economic power of USA, military and economic power of USA allow it to ignore the UN power or the UN order or any other international organizations. That means USA with its military power and economic power, it always ignored the orders of UNO and also any other international organizations. Within the UN, the influence of the US is considerable. The US has unmatched financial power. It is the largest donor to UN. Moreover, UNO is physically located in US territory, gives Washington additional sources of influence also. The US also has many nationals in the UN bureaucracy. With its veto power, USA is having veto power because it is a permanent member in Security Council. The US can stop any moves from the General Assembly that finds annoying to him or her allies. The UN has served the UN has served to bring the US and the rest of the world into discussions over various issues. The UN is an imperfect body, but without which the world cannot survive. It will become worsen off. The technology promises to increase planetary independence, and therefore the importance of the UN will only increase. Now, what is MST International, students? What do you mean by MST International? MST International is an NGO, non-governmental organizations or gested organizations. So MST International is an NGO. Okay, that campaigns for the protection of human rights all over the world. I repeat once again, Amnesty International is one of the NGO or is an NGO that campaigns, that always campaigning for the protection of human rights all over the world. Similarly, Human Rights Watch. What is meant by Human Rights Watch? See, Human Rights Watch is another international NGO involved in research and advocacy on human rights. I repeat, Human Rights Watch is another important NGO in the world, which always involved in research and advocacy on human rights. It is the largest international human rights organization in the US. It is the largest organization in the US. It draws the global media's attention to the human rights abuses. It helped in building the international coalitions like the campaigns to ban landmines, to stop the use of child soldiers, and to establish the International Criminal Court. These are the works of the Human Rights Watch. So students, this is the end of our today's chapter. This is the concluding part. With this, the chapter International Organization was completed. Hope you have understood various concepts through all those 4 videos. We will come with some more videos with new topics. Till then, take care.